September is a month that packs a bit of a punch because eclipse season has officially entered the chat. So we all know how that is. It can be quite erratic, quite surprising, but very enlightening. But apart from that, we've also got 2 retrogrades, we've got planetary shifts. So September is one of those months where it won't be dull, but it'll definitely be profound. All right, so if you want to know the specifics of the astrology for the month of September, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If this is our first time meeting, welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this video is all about the key dates that you need to know and keep in mind for the month of September 2025. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So if you haven't watched the general themes for September video, the link it's right there. Well, the link is in the description box below, but essentially in that video, I talk about eclipse season and how September is about divine realignment, okay? And so we've got 2 eclipses, we've got 2 retrogrades, and we've got 3 planetary shifts. So like I said, September is definitely not going to be dull by any stretch of the imagination. And so let's just get into it. How about that? So first and foremost, on September 1st, we have Saturn retrograding back into Pisces. Now, Saturn is one of the major players of 2025 because it is shifting into Aries. And we had a taste of this earlier in the year, but now as Saturn goes retrograde back into Pisces, it's sort of wrapping things up in a major sort of way. This transit is going to last for a couple of months, but the beginning of it is clearly on September 1st. And essentially, the essence of this transit is that it is very karmic and it's wrapping up karmic cycles. It's literally doing a last sweep wherever Pisces is in your natal chart so that you can start to move ahead and build new structures. So this transit could signify things coming to an end, things wrapping up, things ending, decimating, all of those things. Now, it could feel a little challenging. It could feel a little arduous. That's just the nature of Saturn. However, keep in mind the purpose of this transit, and it is literally to wrap up old business, wrap up karmic cycles, so we can start building new structures. Point blank, period. Okay? Thereafter, on September 6th, we have the second retrograde, which is Uranus going retrograde in Gemini. Now, Uranus in Gemini is also a major player of 2025 because Uranus spent about 7 to 8 years in Taurus, and then this year just moved into Gemini. So it's still going to be in Gemini, it's just going to be retrograde. And so essentially what this means is that this is the time for you to address your inner narrative, address your inner thoughts. This is a great transit to change your beliefs, to change your story, to change how you think from the inside out. Now, the one thing that I will highlight with Uranus going retrograde in Gemini is that your intuition is going to be hella lit. So it's really important for you to listen to it because your intuition may be guiding you to redo certain things, particularly in the house that Gemini rules in your natal chart. Now, throughout this forecast, I'm going to be talking about the different houses in your natal chart. And maybe you're familiar with that, or maybe you aren't. Either way, you should definitely consider scheduling a natal chart reading with me so you can get crystal clear on what your natal chart looks and means for you, all right? So if you're interested, the link will be in the description box below. Definitely hop on that sooner rather than later because with this month being all about divine realignment, I'm realigning quite a few things in my life and in my business. And the natal chart reading as it stands right now is about to go away real soon. All right. So sign up sooner rather than later so you can finally understand your natal chart. All right. So back to Uranus and Gemini. This is listening to your intuition and rewiring how you think, how you communicate, and maybe even how you express yourself. Okay? All right. Next up on September 7th, we have the heavy hitter of the month, or at least one of the heavy hitters of the month, which is the full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. Now, I'm so excited because I did a collaboration video all about this with Soul to Soul by Goddess. The link to that will be in the description box below. And we go through this eclipse from soup to nuts, so you'll know exactly how to prepare. But the quick and dirty when it comes to this eclipse, hella enlightening, particularly about things that are ending, things that are karmic, and the bigger picture of life. This could definitely impact your spirituality. This could impact your subconscious. Whatever it is, whatever's been underneath the surface, whatever's been nebulous and otherworldly, is going to become very clear to you at this eclipse. So you'll definitely want to observe rather than do anything, because the universe has something really important to show you when it comes to your inner world, your subconscious, or your spirituality. All right. And again, check out our video. Link is in the description box below. Next up, on September 19th, we have Venus moving into the sign of Virgo. Now, Venus isn't necessarily comfortable in Virgo. Virgo is all about the details and is really just a stickler for perfection. Venus likes to be a little more flowy and a little more beautiful and aesthetic, a little less serious, if you will. But Venus in Virgo is definitely a great transit to realign and refine your finances and your relationships. It's kind of like you're going to take a magnifying glass up to them. You're going to go through them with a fine-tooth comb, and you're going to distill everything to its necessary essence. Virgo loves usefulness. Anything that's not useful, Virgo doesn't really like to fuck with it, right? So, with Venus and Virgo, when it comes to your finances and your relationships, generally speaking, and of course, you're going to want to look at wherever Virgo is in your natal chart to understand this energy specifically. But this is, again, the time for you to refine your relationships and your finances. Roll up your sleeves, get to work, and figure out what's necessary and what isn't in those areas of life. Then on September 21st, we have the second heavy hitter of the month, which is the new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. I also did a collaboration video with Soul to Soul by Goddess for this one as well. And the link will be in the description box below as well. So you'll understand exactly how to prepare and what to expect for this eclipse. But needless to say, it's a solar eclipse. So it's a new moon on steroids. So this allows you to plant new seeds and set new intentions with precision, with an eye to perfection. And it'll be determined, whatever seeds you want to plant will be determined by the house that Virgo rules in your natal chart. But here's the thing, because it's an eclipse, the universe is kind of going to hand you these seeds, right? It's going to give you these opportunities. And they could be work related because Virgo has a lot to do with work. These new seeds, the universe is kind of going to be like, here, why don't you try planting these and see what happens, right? It's going to be an element of surprise, an element of sudden shifts, but this is going to be great to plant seeds, not only of longevity, but seeds of usefulness and seeds of perfection in our lives. Again, this is the universe's way of moving chess pieces along the chessboard to take us to where we need to go. All right. And again, if you want to know more about that, the link to that solar eclipse video will be in the description box below. And then on September 22nd, we have quite a bit of dynamic energy because the sun will be moving into Libra, heralding Libra season. And Mars will be moving into one of its home signs of Scorpio. So first, let's talk about the sun in Libra. This is about restoring balance. Libra is ruled by Venus, so this has an element of beauty, of aesthetics, of charm, of being social. When the sun moves into Libra, this is a time for us to collaborate, to cooperate, and to restore balance in our lives. And wherever Libra is in your natal chart, the sun is going to activate that area of life. So you're going to want to pay attention to that. All right. Then that same day, Mars is going to be moving into one of its home signs of Scorpio, and things are going to get hot, heavy, and intense. So Mars in Scorpio wants us to start something new that's deep, that's substantive, and that we're passionate about. Now, this particular transit has an undercurrent of spicy, fiery energy, sex, let's just keep it a buck, right? But also of creating something meaningful, something that you're super passionate about. This could also be kind of a volatile kind of transit. Mars in Scorpio is like having a whole bunch of power and passion at your fingertips. So, this is one of those transits where you're going to have to use the energy extremely wisely. But whatever's created from this transit will be hella powerful. All right. And that's a really great way to close out the month and move into the last quarter of the year. We're going to start off very strong and we're going to be getting our lives into alignment. All right. So that's essentially the astrology for September in a nutshell. All right. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this month and beyond. Again, if you want to sign up for a natal chart reading with me, especially as it stands right now, the reading is going to be revamped and it's going to be morphing and going away soon. Sign up sooner rather than later. Link is in the description box below. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy September, and I will see you in my next video. And speaking of my next video, in this series, I'm going to be talking about how to work with the energy of September. So the astrology for September, how to work with the energy. And if you want to catch that, it's going to be right here. All right, my loves, again, happy September, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.